Hey there, Wargamers, and welcome back to another Wargames Delivered video. In this video, we're going to be speed painting Sansa Stark. Let's get started.
So to start this video off, I wanted to just do a simple speed painting character video, but this kind of turned into a accepting your mistakes kind of video, because most of the steps here I'm pretty happy with, but there was one that I was not very happy with, and rather than hiding that, I wanted to show you guys and kind of talk about, how we can kind of, as hobbyists, work through our mistakes and, just ways that we can kind of combat the hobby fatigue that, some of us get sometimes. So the first step on the model here is going to be High Lord Blue and Speed Paint Medium. I'm going to do a 1-to-1 ratio, and that's because I just want a very thinned down version of this paint to go on as her dress. I don't really want it like a very dark blue, so we're going to kind of hope that this is going to work out and be a light blue kind of when it dries. And we are going to be covering her cloak on her back in a different color, so just be aware of that. And if you're following this tutorial, just be sure to avoid that part of the model as best you can, and her hands that are kind of sticking out in her dress. I was actually pretty happy with this step. This was not the one that I was disappointed with, so I very happy with this one. Actually, we're going to move over to Cloudburst Blue, and this is going to be the backside cloak for the model here. And we're going to cover this pretty thick. We want this one pretty dark. This is going to be her like family cloak, like the Stark cloak that they all wear. So, and I wanted it to kind of match her blue theme that Sansa always seems to wear. So this is what we're going for here. Again, be very careful around the High Lord Blue that we put down earlier. If you do need to fix anything, just be sure to take some white and gray, mix those together, regular acrylics by the way, white and gray, mix those together and just cover up any areas and then go over that with the speed paint that you need to. Now moving into the skin here after the Cloudburst Blue step, we're going to switch over to Crusader Skin, and this is kind of where I started to have an issue with the model. This is the only speed paint that I've had that I'm not 100% sold on. It works sometimes for me, and then sometimes I kind of have results that I'm not super in love with. So for this model, it kind of dried a little bit dark. Sansa's pretty pale in the show, and in the books she's supposed to be pretty pale as well. So this was a little bit too tan, in my opinion, for Sansa at least. It can work for a multitude of other things, though. I've used it on a couple other warriors and things of that nature, and it seems to work fine on them. But for this one, it kind of made me think that, speed paints are great, but they're not the solution for everything. So I got a little discouraged and didn't finish this model in this video. You'll see where I got at the end here, but in a future video we're going to go over how to fix mistakes that we've made and kind of how to deal with those. And the way that I like to deal with those best is, if I'm not super pressed to get the miniature done, if I don't have a game or anything coming up, then I like to kind of put it aside for a little bit, not think about it for too much, and then just kind of look at it with a set of fresh eyes, maybe the next day or the next week or so, and then I kind of seem to come up with the solution very easily. Sometimes when you're working with a model for a very long time, it can kind of get hard to come up with, simple solutions. So this is a tactic that I use pretty regularly. I'm pretty well known to paint my miniatures and then leave them unbased for years. So that's what I'm trying to get better at, is just finishing the entire thing right away. Everyone has these hobby pitfalls, and it's something that we all have to overcome or learn to, have fun with it. And so this is how the Crusader skin dried. It's not bad by any means, but for my character models I like to go a little bit more in detail. So I tried to do a quick solution here with some corpse pale, and just kind of try to paint the raised areas and details on the face here. Apologies for the blurriness, guys. But yeah, try to just pick out the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, just all the raised details on the face, and then thought maybe if we go over that with the Crusader skin, it might give us a slightly better result, but spoilers, it didn't work out so well. It actually just made her skin tone a little bit darker, so in an effort to get you guys a video about honest work and not always living up to what you expect from your painting level, this happens to everybody. Not everyone is perfect, and especially in this hobby it can be difficult. Your brushes start to wear out, your paint starts to wear out, your fingers, you have too much coffee, your fingers shake, things happen. So sometimes it's just better to look at it in a different day, in a different light, and you can have a fresh mind and have a fresh perspective on the model. And as you can see here, it definitely added some depth to the skin tone, but didn't really do what I was hoping it would do. So what I did here was just move on to the hair of the model. We've got Fire Giant Orange and Dark Wood, and we're going to mix those together, not really to a 1-to-1 ratio. I've just got a touch of Dark Wood in that Fire Giant Orange just because it's Sansa Stark and I want her hair to be basically orange, but the Fire Giant Orange is very bright, so the Dark Wood just was added in to counterbalance the brightness of the paint and add a little bit of darkness to like the roots of her hair. And of course, whenever you're doing the last step in a speed paint job, you want to be very careful to avoid all of the other areas that we've painted before, especially with something like this. An orange over a blue can turn out really muddy and terrible. So just be aware of that, and just work the color in slowly. As you can see, I'm doing here with this braid, just kind of working in very slowly, trying to avoid hitting the blue as best as I can. And if you do make any mistakes, just have some nice off-white or gray handy to clean up your mistakes, and then go back over them with your speed paint that you need. Other than the skin here, I was very happy with how all of the other speed paints turned out on the model. But moving on to one of our acrylic steps here, we're going to switch over to uniform gray, and with this we're going to cover in the clasps on the cloak of the model. And as always, when you're using an acrylic over your speed paint, just be very careful. Try not to hit any of the speed paint areas that you've painted. It can be very annoying to clean up with speed paint, but usually over gray it's not too bad. You just kind of have to highlight it back to where it was before you covered it with the speed paint, and then you can go ahead and go back in with the speed paint that you need and cover it back up. You'll notice in the final shots here, I didn't base this model. That's because we're going to go ahead and fix it later on in another video. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the top link in the description below for the giveaway, and happy wargaming.